Welcome to HTML series. In this video we are going to learn about HTML frames. So HTML frames are some tags that will let you create different sections in your browser window that will work like a separate website or separate web page. They will display separate content and they will have their own scroll bars. They will act like a different frames. As the name suggests, frame tag will create different frames in your browser. So you can use it for displaying external content. Suppose you have a website and you want to show a part of different website that is on some other URL, or maybe you want to show some other HTML file in a particular area of your website. So these are some kind of usage that you can think of. So let us begin with typing the very first frame code, and for this video I'm going to create two frames in my browser window, and you will see how it looks. So let us start typing, and since it is going to be two frames, so we can call it a set of frames. So for that we have a tag called Frameset. So this will let us create a set of frames. So Frameset start and Frameset close, just like other HTML tags. And then let us actually create our two frames, and for that we have frame tag, frame 1, and let me just copy it, and frame 2. And just like our image tag where we provide the source src, img src, if you remember, we also use the src attribute in our frame tag to provide the source of the frame. Just like say you want to display an external URL, so in that case the source will be the external URL. And let's say my own website. Okay, so this will be the first frame, and for second we can again make it a separate URL, external URL, or let us take a hosted file that is present in my own computer. Let's say maybe xyz.html. so this file is present in my computer, and whatever is present in it will be shown in a separate frame. So this is the very basic frame code, and the frame set needs some attributes to work, like how you should separate your browser window. So let us see, for example, this is the browser window, and you will notice that I am using Internet Explorer here. It's because some of the attributes in frame tag are now not supported by modern browsers. So to show the functionality of all the attributes, I have to use this old Internet Explorer. So anyways, you can divide the screen, say something like this, in half. So this will be, say, column 1 and column 2, or maybe you can divide the screen like this. So in that case this will be row 1 and this will be row 2. So you will have to instruct the frameset tag that what kind of division you want in your screen. So let us start by making two columns, right, and give attribute columns, and in short we write cols, cols, for columns. And now we have to give the values which will be actually the width of your columns. What should be the width of the columns? So since we are making two columns, let us keep them of same size. So this is For example, this is your 100% of the screen. Of course, this is the 100% of the width. So what should be the width of these two columns? It cannot be more than 100. So let's keep it 50 and remaining 50. Okay. So we can give the size in pixels as well as in percentage. If you know the pixels, how many pixels are from here to here, so you can just divide those pixels. Say it is a 1000 pixel window, so you can make it 500 and 500 pixels, 2000 pixels, and you can make it 1000 and 1000 pixels. So let us use the percentage first and give values 50%, comma 50%. So now both the frames will have 50-50 size, and let's save this and see what output we are getting. Let's reload our page, and as you can see, this site loaded very quickly because it was a locally hosted file xyz.html that was present here. Okay, this is my frame HTML page that we are working on, and this is the xyz.html file that we have used in this second frame. So that loaded quickly because it was a locally hosted file, and this is the first frame, which was my website, thenetgurus.com. So you can see the frames. We have used columns, so we have two columns, the first column and the second column, and you can notice these scroll bars. Okay, this page is small, so it is not getting a scroll bar. If it was a little longer, so it would get its own scroll bar. Let's make it longer so that you can see the scroll bar here. So I've made this page a little longer by adding some text, and you can see now that a scroll bar has appeared. Okay, so this was about frames in two columns. Now let us see how we can make two rows of frames. So that will just require to change this attribute to rows. So this will create the frames in the form of two rows that will be of equal size. So let's save the page and reload our page, and as you can see, now the frames are in the form of rows. The first row, which is my website, and second row, which is a locally hosted HTML page. Let's move forward and see some attributes of these frame set and frame tag. Let's start by these scroll bars, since we were talking about them. So for some reason, if you don't like these scroll bars, or you just don't want them for some reason, so we can stop them from appearing, and there won't be any scroll bar even if the page is longer than the visible window. So let's do that. Let's use the attribute that is scrolling, and it will have two values, yes or no. And if we make it no, so your scroll bar will disappear. Let's save it. So we have changed the scrolling to no for our first frame, which is my website. Let's reload the page, and this scroll bar should disappear. Let's load the page, and as you can see, there is no scroll bar now, and even if I try to scroll, the frame is now not scrolling at all. Even with your mouse wheel, this is not scrolling. So let's do this same thing in the second one also, or maybe use the value yes here just to see that it keeps the scroll bar enabled or not. Yes. Let's see some more attributes, and this time let's see what we can do with these line that you are seeing here. When we had column scroll bar, the line was in middle, and this sometimes looks ugly, and developers don't want to see in the website. And we can make this disappear by using the attribute border is equal to 0. So let's type the attribute 0. Let's reload the page, and the line that you were seeing, that border, frame border, has disappeared. So this is the first frame, this is the second frame, and the border has gone. So I've removed the border attribute and border 0 attribute. So this border is back, and now let's see what we can do to change the spacing. So for that we have the attribute frame spacing, and we can give some numbers here, for example 10. So this will create a 10 pixel spacing, and you can see it is like in the form of a thicker border. It works like a border thickness, but it is actually the spacing between the two frames. One thing that you must have noticed, that I'm typing this entire frame set and frame tag inside the head section, not in the body. So this is slightly changed. In the case of adding a frame, we type the codes in the head section instead of typing it in the body. And finally, let's see how we can make some changes in our size of the frames. And for this, let's say you want to give the first frame a value of maybe 200 pixels, and you don't know what is the remaining pixels in your browser window. So what you can do is simply type star here. This will means that the first frame will get 200 pixels, and whatever the remaining pixels are will be given to the second frame. So star means everything that is left. So let's save this, and let's see what changes we get. Let's reload our page, and as you can see, this is about 200 pixels in width, this whole thing here from here to here, and this is the remaining pixel which is given by the value of star, which means everything which was left after giving 200 pixels to this frame. And finally, the last thing that I'm going to tell you about frames in this video, which is the part 1 of frames. We will have a part 2 also that will contain more information about frames. So in this video, the last topic is about this resizing. You can see that the cursor actually changes when you hover over this border, and you can drag and change the size of the frame. So you can stop this by giving the attribute no resize. That means you will tell the frame that resizing is not allowed. So the attribute is no resize, and the value is also no resize. So this will stop the frame from getting resized by the user. So let's save this, reload the page, and you can see that the icon is not changing when I hover over this border, and I'm not able to resize it. It is now static 200 pixels. So that was all about this part 1 of frames. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.